revenue until the month of March. Now I know you're saying, well, that's 6 days, 7 days. You mean to tell me you're complaining about 7 days? In the accounting world, I will never make that revenue up ever again. It's lost.
Yeah, I think he means like they're already set up and they're asking to change it from there.
Yeah.
The thing is that the way we get around that in wireless is they're always able to be delayed.
Correct.
Nobody's going to have the same exact payday anyway. But
Right. No, I'm just saying. So what we did is we set up for calendar billing, and so as soon as you get set up,
that's when
you get anniversary billing. That's what it is.
Maybe you know how like some companies are going to that though, where you can pick your own date that you'd like to rebuild.
Some of them do.
As a customer courtesy, maybe we should look into.
We have been down that road, and I would say 99% of the people don't care. They don't care, and it's not worth for that 1%.
They'll work their schedule
You
around
just tell them, well, this is the way that our billing system works.
Could you just start a package, and the package, and then restart it?
Yeah, you can. You could just change a date, but it's just one of those things. It's just not really.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth
Do
it.
they want to start the services on the first? Set them up to start the services on the first.
Now, this particular customer has two packages. They have a BRF charge and they have an invoice charge.
That's retirement fund.
What's that?
I remember that
That's
before.
retirement fund.
Who
That's
told you
seriously what that stands
that?
for?
Probably.
Oh my God.
Do you know how many people know that?
Not all of us.
Now everybody does. Anyway.
I even asked Bill what that stood for, and he could,
What, BRF?
I just thought it was a billing recurring.
It is.
For
It
billing.
is.
That's
It is.
what I expected. I would
It is.
I would never say it was your retirement.
Yeah.
But it is coming off my.
But it is quite interesting how the initials line up.
Hey man, I'm just trying to help you out.
So anyway, moving on, they have two charges. They have two packages on their account. They have an RCMP package, which explains the RCMP. Now, some of you might have noticed that there might be two charges. It might say $795 and $895. What it is it's anniversary billing with intro price. The intro price is the $795. After the 1 year intro price, it goes up $1. What it did is it saved us from having to manually go through and update the prices $1. After that $1 or that package increase prices happened, it doesn't happen again unless we were to manually do that.
So we don't have in the future we won't have a BRF. That's weird.
No, it'll be there.
Just because the package goes up does not mean the BRF.
The BRF is only it's a $1 charge.
I thought that
No matter if they bill $7,000 or they bill $7.
I thought that I didn't realize that we were raising the package price.
The package price goes up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
After every year.
we're giving
Right, that's
right. Price.
I wish I could retire.
Anyway, BRF2.
I'm giving my.
Is that it?
That's
I'm giving you my check now.
Just saying, there's got to be different levels.
Yes.
No, you just start adding it to me.
Okay, so, hey, the Brook Points charge is a VIP charge, isn't it? It's a VIP billing charge.
Yeah, it is.
And it's $1 too. Anyway, so we got RCMP. There are two packages. You can see that they all have the same dates. This is one thing that I really want to make sure that you completely understand. If you ever get a customer that says, hey, I'm getting 2 bills from you a month. Actually, believe it or not, most people will not tell you that they're getting 2 bills from you a month because they don't necessarily know or they don't understand. It is possible, if I come in here and I change this, do you notice that this next bill date, do you see where it says 00001? If I change this to 0, what's going to happen is this is actually going to bill out on the 28th of March. But if I come in here and look at this other package, was that on this one? Doesn't matter. Do you see how this says 01? This is actually going to bill out on the 29th of the month. We bill one
day.
We bill 1 day a month, or 1 time a day, and that's at midnight. The computer has been told to bill this at 000001, not 00000. So even though it says the 28th, it's not going to bill it until the 29th. If I change that to 4 p.m., it's going to bill it on the 29th. Because as far as Freeside is concerned, 3/28/2013 has already passed. And it wasn't there, it wasn't ready to be billed on that day.
Well, if you change that to 29,
Who does?
Angie has to go to
Oh, okay.
watch
Where's my check? Okay. Anyway, so what you want to make sure of is that the package dates are all the same. And that's specifically important. What you got?
I just need to teach them.
That's okay.
I'm
That's
sorry.
okay. I didn't realize it was so late. So we're almost done with this anyway. So
Okay.
we just have to finish up the packages screen.
Yep.
Do you want to play my phone, bud? Yeah, it does that by itself. Okay. What's that?
1,900.
1,900. Yes. All right.
1,900.
So those are package dates. That's how you add those. If you were to add a new package, which eventually you really won't have to worry about adding new packages, you will have to change packages from time to time. With new packages, Melanie's going to be doing a lot of the new packages. Same with Brandon. But what I do want to show you is one-time charges.
Am I understanding that me and Charles won't have to worry about packages anymore?
Well, you guys don't set up the contracts now.
No. Oh, so we'll just enter in the customer information and then they'll.
They'll still be responsible for one-time charges. though.
You were still
That's
doing
fine.
one-time charges. That's correct.
Is the one-time charges that they're giving me now to get to customers?
On the quote, they're not included with the tax, so it's not the final number that they need.
Okay,
The
but
final
they're
number-
doing it out of here, or are they
What,
doing it
for
out?
invoice?
Yes.
Yes, it comes out of here. I'm going to show you how that's done. Okay? So there's new qualification, we don't use that. Order new packages, we use order new packages for signups. RCMPs, Brookpoint VIPs, for partners, for iDisplays, for DSL, for wireless. Anything that's a reoccurring charge is a new package.
As well as non-billing emails and things of that nature.
Correct, yes. So if I click on here, order new, do a one-time charge. There is a one-time charge of, actually, let's open up 999. Because I'll actually just create the account on,
Oh, yeah. Canada.
go to packages. Ben's Shoe Store would like a new computer, $1,000 new computer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Wow, that's
That's
good.
a nice PC.
Yes, there's a package class. At this point in time, if it was a one-time charge, Melanie does one-time charges for equipment and stuff like that, you would put the category in for what it is. Specifically, if this is for parts, we're not going to invoice now, and we're going to leave that blank.
You're not going to invoice now?
We're not going to invoice now. And we're going to do tax exempt and tax class of parts. I'm going to say Ben's new desktop. If you were going to have multiple charge, add one-time charge.
What was the purpose of not invoicing it?
Wait,
Because there's going to be, that's his desktop. He also wants QuickBooks. So I'm going to do another one-time charge. See where it says not yet billed? One-time charge. Did I click one-time charge?
Yes.
Yeah, there it is. So now I'm going to say he wants $15, and it's another package charge amount. You do these based upon whatever your category is. But like Benson does parts. I'm not going to invoice now. I'm going to leave this blank. He's not tax exempt, but it is a tax class of parts, and this is QuickBooks.
We don't charge tax on desktops.
Yes, we do.
Yes, you do.
Oh, you checked on the tax exempt?
No, he didn't.
No,
No, he was just saying they weren't taxed.
Oh,
they weren't tax exempt.
but
So-
nonprofit.
If they have a coupon or a
valid.
They need a
Yeah.
certificate.
they have to have a certificate on file for that.
Yep. Need the customer
So
notice.
like a church, if they wanted.
They still need their.
They're still in the ID, yep.
No, that's
You
what
still
I'm saying.
have to have a copy. That's correct. But, so then we're gonna do a one-time charge of $15. I put a tax class of parts. If I put a tax class of parts, then what's gonna happen is when I hit bill now, I'm gonna do one more one-time charge. And I'm gonna put in, it is a pain in the butt to do it this way. It really is. And I don't want you to think it's not, because it is.
Ben's VRF.
Right? Now that you had this, you're never gonna live it
I
down.
know.
BRF is not tax class because we don't charge tax on that dollar. It's a service charge. And we're gonna say, Ben's,
Retirement fund.
we're just gonna say Ben's fund. And, we're gonna do one-time charge. And I'm not gonna bill now. If I hit invoice now, we're gonna generate an invoice for $1. That doesn't make a lot of sense. So then what we're going to do is, you see where these packages are? They show not yet billed, one-time charge, not yet billed, one-time charge. If I do nothing, if I walk away and I go home right now, tonight at midnight, those are going to all generate into one invoice. Because they've been told to. Because if I go here and look at these edit dates, I just have to look at one of these that's blank. And blank means that it will automatically populate tonight at midnight. But the customer's waiting. What's that?
Will it bill also in that?
It'll bill also.
Will it populate and bill?
It'll populate and bill. Yeah. And I don't think that I have any automatic credit card on this thing. Oh well, if I do, I do. So what's going to happen is it's got 1,000. It says test account that we have, so I don't know what credit card is in there. $1,000, $15, $1, and you know the database. This was for September 18th. We still are on the bench shoe store, right?
We could cancel those packages.
Who can?
You can, see, you got the cancel now button.
Because they have not yet been billed.
Right.
But you can cancel it out now.
Right now I can click this and it's gone.
And then
So if you make a mistake, but if you hit invoice now,
It automatically.
it's going to invoice it. You can't cancel it. It's
What
done.
if I want him to send it out to me right now?
Yeah, what if the customer's in front of you?
Right, that's what I'm trying to get
Okay.
to. The customer's in front of you. I want this invoice. I want to write you a check. We're like, yes, because we're not going to accept a credit card. We're going to get a check. Okay, so then what we're going to do is, yeah, that's right. So what I'm going to do is, you see there is no bill now. It's not yet billed one time, so I'm going to come over here. I don't believe there's anything funky on this account. Do you see how the status is now ordered? Remember how it was canceled? Because he had no active packages, he's already been billed out. If he had an active package but yet has not yet been billed out, like it's going to be set up to bill out a year from now, it would still say ordered, because it's pending. Something is going to happen. Right. And then right down here, there is something called Bill Now. What Bill Now will do is it will say, hey, there's charges here. I need to do something with it. And it's going to check the billing events that we have in play and say, oh, I got to bill it. So if I hit Bill Now, now you remember how there were two of those charges that had tax?
Yes.
And one of them that didn't. So what's going to happen is it's going to sit here, it's going to process this job, it's going to run all the other billing events. We have 112 other billing events.
Yep.
And what happens is it checks all of the billing logic and it says, does any of these match those procedures? Does any of them match the qualifications for this account? No. So it would basically just bill it out. This customer now has a bill of $1,087.05. And now you can tell the taxes were created on that because it's got an 05. Did I put anything in there for 05? Yes.
My problem is, they already have ACH info in, and they're a recurring billing customer for years, months, or whatever. When we click Bill Now, it is going to charge those packages to that ACH account. What if they do not, what if they want the invoice, but they do not want it billed to that? Because when we click bill now, it automatically goes, oh, here's $1,087 I haven't got, let's get it, boom. So
It
so
goes to that
now,
account.
so now we have an
Oh, yeah.
invoice, but it's already been paid.
Correct, correct. Now, and the reason why that is because there's a billing event out there. I believe that,
So we need to know how to generate an invoice for a customer who's
you're
already
gonna do it
sent
you're gonna do it the exact same way. Bill now, ACH invoice, I wanna say 7 hours old. So what I will do to solve that problem is I will create a billing rule that says do not collect money out of this unless the invoice is 7 hours old.
So that will be done now.
I have to create that logic.
Okay.
But in the interim, until you know any differently, all you do is you uncheck, charge the account automatically.
But there isn't when you click bill now.
On the edit customer screen, there is.
Okay, so we.
See where you would go into edit this customer,
Okay.
right, and you would edit this customer, come down here and say, it would be set up as electronic check, and you would say, you would uncheck that. The information will still stay.
And then when we click bill now, it'll generate the invoice, but we have to remember to come back.
Come back and
It
click
is
on
your
that.
job to come back and do this.
So,
But what I will do is I'm gonna try to adjust that logic to, because now that I know that that's a problem, what we'll do is we'll create it so that invoice has to be so many hours old.
It's just an annoyance.
Right.
Well,
Right.
couldn't you go in though, and edit the dates, to match up with when you wanted it to bill with the
You
other
could,
packages?
you could. But I think in their cases, they're gonna have, like, not necessarily just their case, they can have wireless equipment that we're charging for somebody specific. They can have, there could be lots of different
Okay.
things with that.
Now,
so when, say for instance, the switch,
So, yeah,
okay,
you want an
he
invoice.
gave me the invoice,
Right,
he printed it out because that
Right.
was, we got the $500 and some for it. Wouldn't that be the cue for them to go ahead and order that?
no, there's
So
no billing
when-
event, there's no billing event.
No,
that
for
says
them to
that.
go ahead and, hey, they printed out this invoice for them to go ahead because I got the check. From that point, wouldn't that be their cue to go ahead and order it since they're giving me the invoice?
That technically should do it, but there's nothing that prompts them that says, hey, do this. And
Is
that's
there
a
anything-
billing, that's a business rule that we've just gotta figure that process out.
now, another thing is, what if they don't get back to us in 7 hours? Is it gonna bill?
It's gonna bill them. It's gonna bill them at midnight, because we only bill at midnight.
So that could cause some more, that can make them, if they're still thinking about it, that can just make them.
They
angry
shouldn't
and
be
say,
thinking,
"Never
they
mind."
shouldn't be thinking about it. We don't give an invoice to somebody unless they pay for it.
True.
A quote and an
A quote
invoice
and
are
invoice are two different
totally
things.
different things.
True.
We
but-
should not create an invoice unless they pay for
But
it.
handing them an invoice does not necessarily legally bind them to buying it. So if they
Oh,
do.
yeah,
No, that's why when you give them a quote.
That's right, you give them a
Right.
quote.
Yeah, because you're taking a quote, they
Yes.
sign off
Just-
on
just
it,
making
they
sure.
sign off with, they give me the check, and then I ask
quote is
for an
services rendered,
invoice.
Or, invoices for services rendered.
And that's when I'm asking for those invoices, that means I've already given her the check. And that, we just need to think, and when I'm asking for the invoice, how are we gonna implement for you to go ahead and order now?
Once you have the check, either you or I apply it to Freeside immediately. That way I can email the purchasing queue, get clearance, go through that whole spiel.
Correct.
And then
And we will get that figured out, especially now that Brandon's here. We'll figure out all those procedures and who's gonna do what. When we
Right.
get a new order, it's all gonna be tied
Right, and
together.
have,
Right
we're
now,
gonna
we
go
don't
through a
have
Visio
that,
flow
and that's
chart.
what we
Someone
gotta
needs to
figure it out.
be able to say,
Make
okay,
sure
the
that-
invoice is made, I hear that we have the check in, I need to notify who needs to be notified.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. And technically, there is a way that we could even do that. We can even create some billing automation to notify that. But we just have to figure out what those procedures are, and then we can create billing events around those. So, okay, so customer standing there, has been standing there while we've been talking about how to give them an invoice for the last half an hour. So here is the invoice, and it says it's marked in red. They have an open invoice of, number 62956. You can also search for that invoice in the future right by clicking up here right on their invoice. So if I click on open invoice, you can take your shoes off, yes. Here is their invoice. Now, for a free drink, which you've already received, can anybody tell me if I hit reprint this invoice?
It's gonna print right over
It's
there.
gonna get right over there to report it.
Good job. Good job.
Hey, I did this the other day, I hit that button.
And it printed out here.
Did it? Can you bring that back to the office?
It's already been mailed.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
very good.
Okay, so this is the invoice. You can view this customer. You can post a check or cash payment against this invoice. You can reprint this invoice, which is actually going to print it down here and then print full stuff to the customer 3 or 4 days later. If you hit re-email this invoice, it will email this invoice to that customer.
Yes.
As a PDF, right?
As
Attached PDF.
Attached
My
PDF.
understanding.
Yep.
Yes. You can have a drink, yes.
So at that time, if I want them to email the invoice, so I don't have to mail it out and pay,
Right there
pay
it
for
is.
the postage,
Yep.
I
Right there
can
it
tell him, hey, I've already received a check, can you go ahead and email that to them, so we don't have, so I don't have to mail it to them or go back and
Well,
drop
they
it off?
wouldn't, if they're writing us a check, wouldn't they already have a copy of the invoice?
Some people
It
still,
was
for their accountant, like
Okay.
J.C. Pontoon, she has to have a receipt for it.
Do you see where it says Indiana state charges, tax charges of $71.05? So here are your 3 line items. We created 1 invoice and not 4 invoices. And if you click on view typeset invoice, I'm not going to do this because what is I got to
That'll print at your local printer.
It might, you know.
That's my question.
Click on it.
If I click on view typeset PDF, it should open up an actual PDF, at which time you can hit print.
And it'll do it.
It's going to print to your printer
Locally.
locally.
Not across
What's that?
town.
Okay, all right. So that is that. Then what happens is your notes that are on there, this barcode we're going to be using when we start entering checks here before long.
Speaking of which, sir,
Yeah.
is that a statement or is that an invoice?
That's an invoice.
It does.
An invoice would actually show multiple invoices.
Oh, that's right, that's Benson, never mind.
Yeah. Benson's invoice
should have
layout
a
is
lot more notes than that.
No, it's a separate. So that is the invoice. You can enter a check payment, enter a cash payment, it's right there. Does that make sense? How to do it as a one-time charge and have it show up as an invoice?
Multiples.
Yeah, now, here's a question. What happens if you want to have a new keyboard and you say to the customer, well, tell you what, I'll just have this so it'll bill to your account when you show up. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Why not?
Why would the charges go to the check?
It can. You could do one-time charge. If I do a one-time charge and you say, hey, I'll just have it taken out the next time, you have all your other stuff taken out, you have to make sure that your edit dates match. And it has to be down to the 0001. Exact.
See, that part I didn't.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, otherwise.
That's how, if you've ever seen where there's been an invoice charge on the 18th, and then on the 19th, and on the 18th and the 19th, and the 18th and the 19th, and the 18th and the 19th, because I see it all the time.
Okay, can we keep Ben in the behind now?
So I'm just
I
saying,
said earlier.
what happens is, I usually check the automatic transactions, and I see if there's a charge that is a small dollar amount, and usually I'll forward it to Kelly and say, Kelly,
Fix this.
fix this. Because I know that it's a problem, because I don't bill anything out that's just $6.
Fix this.
Right. So, what, the only other thing that I have not done is explain this right up here. We've got our ticketing main.
That could be another training session too.
It could be, and that's why I'm not going to go really high in depth with it. Your ticketing main will show you, I have a lot of queues. I have a lot of queues. So,
Oh, thank God, I have all those.
right.
Yeah,
So,
quite a few.
you need to be very specific if you
Yeah.
say, hey, I need access to this.
Because you'll have all that.
If you don't be specific, then you're gonna get a bunch.
You're gonna be screwed.
And then you're gonna be like, what's my job? I don't even know who's this supposed to do, etc. These, this layout, top 10 tickets that I own. Remember how I said you can take a ticket and take ownership of that ticket? If you take ownership of that ticket, it will show up right here.
Yes.
So you constantly see that right on your screen. If you create these are the 10 newest unowned tickets. So at 51510, this is record pool chemicals level at midnight. So Brookpoint uses Freeside as well. And so what happens is that all their jobs pull up and they are told what to do. So it tells us what queue it goes into, the status, how many minutes ago that it was created. You got your all the different types of queues that you have. If you have whatever queues, you can create a new ticket right from here. It's very, very quick entry. The other thing up here at the top is New Prospect. Don't use it. It doesn't work yet. It's broken.
What is?
New Prospect.
I know, right? I wanted to enter a woman in.
Yeah, that's why no one thought I was entering anything stuff in. I was going to New Prospect. But I won't
It
do
doesn't.
it.
You would think that it sounds exactly like what it's supposed to be. It's a feature set that somebody else developed with Freeside. They stopped paying on the module, and it was left unfinished. So that's what it is.
We don't really need it anyway.
Right.
No.
So
it's gotta
if
be
you
custom.
create a new, we create as a prospect, we create new customer, and we don't add packages, and it will create them as a status of prospect.
You got a lot more information on that screen than under the regular new prospect anyway. so-
Correct.
Yeah.
Reports are exactly reports. You should have access to some reports on packages, and I mean, realistically, you can't hurt anything by going through here. I mean, I'm gonna have a lot more reports than what you will, and that's not really the purpose of this. Is
But it's good to know, like, all the DSL customers we
yeah,
currently
you
have
can
that are
literally go through
active.
and find out all the people with certain packages and certain, you know, that's had certain payments or things like that. Tools you don't really need. Configuration you don't have access to most likely. And then their help, I'm sorry, but there's absolutely no documentation from Freeside. Good luck on that. They don't provide it. Questions?
Comments.
Scroll down, or up or down, whatever.
Scroll down, yeah.
They did on
Quick
the-
ticket.
they used that one.
Oh, quick
Oh, at
ticket
the bottom,
creation.
I read some of it.
Quick ticket
There.
creation.
Quick ticket,
That's
yes.
how tickets are created without an account test too.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Is that what you did up for
It's also for
Do I use that? No, I create all my tickets by email.
Oh, okay.
So if I create it by email, it's not going to associate with the ticket.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay? What other questions do you guys have? Hopefully it was thorough. Hopefully you learned something.
Learned a lot.
You have.
It's now recorded.
I'd like to add, if you get one of these lovely
You were,
voicemail,
this
go to
was
the attached to a
going
customer.
and waking you up.
What's that?
If you get a voicemail on the ticket that's not attached to a customer,
Ah.
that's stupid.